2022 is a stacked year for video games. Hello guys, welcome to a new Ace Ice video, and today I wanted to talk about this year's games because it's looking really big. So I don't know if you guys even know how many games are coming out. We just had Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, Dying Light 2. I made reviews for Dying Light 2 and Horizon Forbidden West. Great games. I missed out on Elden Ring because I don't like Souls games. But that's just February. And now we are in March. And I don't know, you should look at your calendar for all the games that you want to buy, because this year is so full of games. It might be a problem for me to review them all. I cannot review them all. But that's a really cool problem to have, that I cannot review them all, because there are so many games coming out, so much stuff you can choose from. This might become one of the best years in video gaming since a long time. 2021 was pretty dreadful. It had its really good games though. I really loved Ratchet & Clank and Lost Judgment, but this year has some really big ones. And I noted 16 games, big games. Some of them are AA, most of them are all AAA, that I am looking forward to. Just to give you an example of how many games are going to release this year. I noted some games that I am sure of that will release this year. First of all, let's start with Ghostwire Tokyo and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Those two are basically releasing next week, this month. I will be reviewing Ghostwire Tokyo because that shit looks amazing. I will also be playing though Tiny Tina Wonderlands if the reviews are good. I like the Borderlands games, so a spin-off of the Borderlands games is really in my line. So I'm pretty hyped for those two. But that's only for this month. Because other games that I think that will release are like God of War Ragnarok. I am sure God of War Ragnarok will release this year, and a lot of people are afraid, it might get delayed. No, don't worry, it will release this year. PlayStation can just drop a state of play whenever they want about God of War. They can release a state of play next month and say, hey guys, in 2 months God of War Ragnarok releases. That's PlayStation's strategy for a really long time now. They have done this with Horizon Forbidden West. They will just drop a teaser for a live stream for State of Play, and it will release in a short period of time. I do think God of War will release maybe around the summer or holiday period. It will come out this year. Forspoken, it already had a release date in May, but that's been delayed until October, I believe. That's unfortunate, but it will not get delayed any further. The gameplay looked a little bit rough from what I've seen, so the delay is pretty good. Then Hogwarts Legacy, there's a state of play coming tonight. I'm going to watch it, and that will get a release date as well for this year. There has been rumors for September, because there's an art book that was leaked online, and most of the time these books come around the same time as the video game. So I'm pretty sure that Hogwarts Legacy will release around August, September to October period. So, A Plague Tale Requiem, this is basically a sequel to A Plague Tale Innocence, which was a really cool AA game. It was about this, the plague and rat-infested cities, and I think it was in France. It was with a girl and a boy, and it was a really good story. And there's a sequel coming out this year, and I do think the development for that game is pretty smoothly. So we will see it, I think, this year as well. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet just got announced not too long ago. Another mainline Pokemon game. How can they release this many? We just had Legends Arceus, which was a really pretty good game. But I do like the more tradition. I'm probably the only one that likes the more traditional style of Pokemon games. So I'm really glad that Scarlet and Violet is going back to its more traditional Pokemon gameplay. Well, they will keep like the open world stuff and the catching that everyone liked in Legends Arceus, but it will go back to the gym structure and stuff like that. That's also coming out this year. And normally Pokemon games never get delayed, so think of that what you want. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Xenoblade games never get delayed really, so and it has a September month release period already announced. So I don't see that moving, or there has to be something wrong in the development, but I don't think that will move. If Final Fantasy 16 doesn't make this year, then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 can ease the pain a bit for me as a JRPG fan. So I'm looking forward for that one as well. And then the last game that I'm pretty sure of that will release this year is Starfield. Starfield is releasing in November. We've had this release date for a really long time, and I don't think Todd Howard will delay the game in any way. From the leaks that I've seen and my sources that I've seen, the game will release this year. It's pretty much done, and they are just fixing bugs. This game has also been in development for really long. It was already started in development after Fallout 4 ended, so Fallout 4 was 2016, and we are now in 2022. It released in 2015, but the DLC ended in 2016, I believe, and that's when they started the development of Starfield already. So I do think Starfield will be ready for this year, and Xbox really needs something big at the end of the year to counteract PlayStation. So that's going to be their big Xbox exclusive holiday game. I do believe that Starfield will release, and we will see a gameplay blowout at E3. Now, games that I'm not really sure of. Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart is basically this Bioshock-esque first-person shooter. It's really cool in Russia, but because of the war in Ukraine, stuff like that, I don't know if it's going to make its 2022 release. They teased like a release date for the end of the year, but we shall see. It could be delayed because of that whole Russia shit, and Ukraine stuff. It could be delayed because of that. Stalker 2 already got delayed because of that, so take it how you want. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I am not sure about that one. It's an all-new next-gen game from Ubisoft in the Avatar universe, but we haven't really seen anything from it, and I don't really have any leaks or sources that can corroborate that the game is well in development. So I could see this one slip into 2023, to be honest. I'm still looking forward for it though. High budget open world game. Always for it. Bayonetta 3. It had a 2022 release window. They announced that in the trailer. But I don't know. There are a lot of Nintendo games releasing already this year. So this one might also slip to 2023. I hope it doesn't, because we have been really waiting long for Bayonetta 3. So I hope it can stick its 2022 landing. Then we have Final Fantasy 16. I am not really sure about Final Fantasy 16 releasing this year. The reason for that is because of the Forspoken delay. It's also Square Enix, and it's all the way to October. And you know, these two games can release next to each other. It can be that it can release in November, Final Fantasy 16, but I don't know. Yoshida did say though that we would get an update on Final Fantasy 16 in spring. So it's not yet technically spring, it's the 17th. Even though in Japan it is already spring. They don't really follow the same rules as other countries. So we could see something new next month or the month after that. Even at E3 timing, technically it's still spring technically, but that's just summer. I don't really like it if it's for that time. I just hope that we see it for this year, but I am a little bit skeptical on that. If it does make it this year though, I will be happy as hell. Final Fantasy 16 is one of my favorite hyped games. I've heard a lot of good things about 14. and Yoshida is the director of 14. I don't like MMOs, so that's why I'm not playing Final Fantasy 14. But I want to see a single player version of his story, so that's why I'm really hyped for Final Fantasy 16. I don't think it's going to hit this year, but it hasn't been delayed yet, so we shall see if it hits this year. Then Redfall. Redfall is a Xbox exclusive from the guys that did Dishonored and Deathloop. Arcane Studios, one of my favorite studios. I wasn't really in love with Deathloop though, but Arcane is Redfall. Redfall is basically this Borderlands-esque shooter, but then with vampires in a open world-esque thing with multiplayer elements. We haven't seen anything of that, so I wouldn't be surprised if that one got delayed to 2023. But there has been like an alpha or something, like a test that has already been done with players. And there was some gameplay leaked somewhere on the internet from what I've known. So maybe it does hit its 2022 release date, but I'm a little bit unsure of that. Then lastly, the game I wanted to talk about, the big elephant in the room, Breath of the Wild 2. Is that going to release this year? I am still on the side of yes, but I am a little bit skeptical. The reason why I say yes is because most of the time Zelda has their like blowouts at E3 with gameplay, and then they say it's releasing in the fall. So that could still happen, but I could see Breath of the Wild slip into 2023, and maybe Nintendo goes like, hey, we have a new Switch for the early part of 2023, and Breath of the Wild 2 is a launch game for that. I don't hope so. I do hope that it is coming out this year. If Bayonetta 3 and Breath of the Wild 2 still release this year, Nintendo is going to have a killer year this year. But yeah, I am a little bit skeptical that Breath of the Wild 2 releases this year. I hope it does though. I really love the first one, so yeah, I'm looking out for that one. So those are just all AAA big games, and some are AA. But we haven't really even talked about indie games. Some indie games that I'm looking forward to: Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is basically this Jet Set Radio successor, with even like Hideki Naganuma, one of my favorite video game composers, on this project making music for it. The gameplay looks really fun. I cannot wait. It is supposed to release this year as well. Then also Trek to Yomi, which is basically this Ghost of Tsushima indie project from Devolver Digital, and it has this Akira Kurosawa vision with black and white graphics, and it looks just really cool. Anything that is traditional Japanese is up my alley, so you know. And then Sea of Stars is a JRPG RPG that looks really interesting with pixel graphics, turn-based. I don't know if it had turn-based combat, but it looks really interesting. And that's also an indie game I'm looking forward to. And there have been indie games released already, like Tunic, which is the cute Zelda-like game, and Anno I can never like speak this name out loud. Anno Chase. I'm sorry for the name, but it's basically this cyberpunk indie game with this really cool female protagonist woman, and she looks badass, and the graphics look beautiful. It's already been released, and it has really good reviews on Steam already. I cannot wait to play that. The point of this video is there are so many games out there going to release this year, and it's maybe too much for me to handle to review them all. I will try to review most of them, but we should be happy. This is a good problem that so many games are releasing, and 2022 can really become a great year for video games. So, what are your favorite video games that are going to release this year that you are looking forward to. Let me know in the comment section down below. We can talk about that. Like this video or dislike it. Don't know why you should dislike it. Subscribe to our channel, Ace Ice, and visit our website, aceice.com. Also visit Get Wrecked, our new news channel that I'm daily uploading at, and the MrMaximum channel, my personal channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.